So with this being the penultimate episode, we're certainly in for another great one this weekend. There's a few storylines and story arcs that they've been building over the last episode or two, and one of them is with Jukebox. We saw Nicole's death in episode 7, but we haven't seen Jukebox read the letter that was left for her. We're going to continue seeing Nicole's mom going after Jukebox, and there are a few images that have been released for episode 9, and we're going to be discussing them and breaking down these new images as we run through this video. But she's also going to be meeting Detective Burke, as we all know from the trailer, and hopefully we see this confrontation with Marvin, which I'm going to get to when I speak about Jukebox's story arc. We're going to see Lulu in hospital and Marvin on a complete rampage after he tries to make an amends with Raquel, and there's going to be this whole issue with Detective Howard, Raquel and Kanan, and will Kanan finally learn the truth? So we're going to be looking at all of these storylines along with the synopsis for episode 9 in this preview and predictions video. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But let's start with the synopsis for episode 9, which reads: as Lou recovers in hospital, Marvin seeks revenge. Feeling the pressure, Rack turns to Kanan to take out the biggest threat to their family. So that's the synopsis, which straight away tells us that Lou is going to survive the fire, which I would say 90% of us knew that he was going to survive anyway, and not finishing the job on Lou was a huge mistake from Morel, and he's definitely going to have Marvin out for revenge in episode 9. Now the actor did tease himself that he was dead, but he was definitely just playing with us all, so we're going to see him recovering, and this will probably put Lou out for this week and maybe even next week's episode as well, because I'm sure episode 10 will pretty much kick off from whatever happens at the end of episode 9, and Lou is going to take some time to recover. Scrappy has also been out of action for a while as well, but I think we're going to see him back either this week or next week. But with Lou, this is really going to change him and the direction his character goes in at the beginning of next season. And I'm sure as Jessica is there in the hospital by his side, she's going to be in his mind about him leaving the game and that side of the world behind him, and just concentrating on his music label, which they've already foreshadowed to happen with the deal that he forced Crown into in the last episode. But we all know leaving the game isn't as simple as it sounds, and Ghost is a perfect example of one of the best ending up dead trying to leave the game. We still need to see him mentor Kanan, and I'm sure this is something we're going to see in season 2. This season we've seen Marvin mentor Kanan more than Lou has, and we're going to continue seeing more of the same in episode 9. And before Raising Kanan started, some of you will remember I said Marvin is going to be the one to show Kanan how to clean a gun. It was an interview that the actor London Brown gave and mentioned that he's going to show Kanan the ropes in the first season, and this is what we're going to continue to see in episode 9. Marvin is going to show Kanan how to take apart a gun and how to clean it, just like we see in this image. So this mentoring is going to continue in the next episode with Marvin and Kanan, especially because he's going to have to step up and deal with the threat. But I'm going to get to that part of the synopsis after I'm done talking about Marvin. And we really are going to see Marvin really coming for revenge this week. He's going to be a man on a mission to not only seek revenge for Lou, but also redeem himself and show Rack and Lou what he can really do, because he has messed up a few times this season, no doubt he has, but Rack is going to have to start trusting him a bit more in the coming episode. We see her putting her fist out to Marvin, and this is a conversation between the two where she really needs to start backing him, trusting him a bit more and telling him, look, you wanted to do the gangster shit because you're a gangster, well now's your time. And this is exactly what we're going to see Marvin do in this episode. He's going to take it to Unique and hit him back, and I'm sure he's going to drop a body or two in the process, but it's going to be hard to hit Unique. He's very well protected with his bulletproof car that he has, and he also has power in numbers. So I do think Raquel and Marvin will need help, and they may even seek help from Joaquin and his men in this episode. But I'm going to come back to Marvin when I talk about Jukebox, because their relationship really will start to take a turn in my opinion. But sticking with the synopsis of the episode, the final part is Rack turning to Kanan to take out the biggest threat to their family. And I went through all of the threats that Raquel, Kanan and the Thomas family have at the moment. There's Detective Howard, Lil Rob, Toni, Davina and Unique. So who is Raquel going to ask Kanan to deal with? For me, it's out of two people. It's either Detective Howard or Lil Rob. And we're not going to dive deep on each of the other characters because this is something I did on Thursday. I'm going to link the video down below for those who haven't seen it. But I think with Lil Rob stitching on Kanan, he definitely has to go. So he is one of my death predictions going into episode 9. It's just a matter of who kills him and whether he's the threat that Rack wants Kanan to deal with, or whether it's Detective Howard, because it would make sense if it is Howard, and that was the threat that Raquel asked Kanan to deal with, because he's a threat to Raquel and Kanan especially. She doesn't want the streets knowing that she was fucking a cop, and she definitely doesn't want the streets knowing that Kanan is the son of a cop either. It would also make sense as to why Kanan saw Tariq in himself. He stopped short of just pulling the trigger on Tariq in Breeze's old apartment when he said that he hated his father Ghost, and they have a lot of things in common, and killing their fathers may just be something else they have in common, especially because Detective Howard would never see it coming from Kanan. And these are a few images of Rack and Kanan, and with Kanan, she really is going to have to lean on him and ask him for help in this episode, especially with Lulu and Scrappy out. Rack is going to have to trust Kanan, just like she's going to have to trust Marvin, but she's going to have to trust Kanan in taking out the biggest threat to their family, and will Kanan get the job done? That's the question. will Kanan manage to eliminate the threat? But coming away from the synopsis, something I'm excited to see is this relationship or lack of relationship between Marvin and Jukebox. Throughout the season, we've seen this awkwardness between them, and even in episode 6, Lou told Marvin, try and be a better father to your daughter if you can see past your nose. And we've seen him snooping around Jukebox's things before, so I really wouldn't be surprised if we see him snooping through Juke's room again and finding some pictures of her and Nicole, or even the videotape of her and Nicole singing. Now the trailer seemed as if Juke had a bruise on her face, so I wonder whether she does get into a bust up with Marvin and whether we see them having this talk about why there's such a disconnect between the two. Could we even hear about Marvin opening up to Juke about the past and who her moms is, because we know she's someone that's going to be introduced in season 2. So this is something I really hope we see, because it's something else that the actor London Brown, who plays Marvin, teased before the season even started. He said there's going to be a major scene where Marvin and Jukebox finally have their talk about why there's such a disconnect between the two, and Marvin has to come to reality with this as she confronts him and he confronts her. So hopefully this is the episode where we see this confrontation between the two characters, because it's going to give us a bit more understanding of why Jukebox became the character she did. And even though we've started to piece some of the puzzle together about her character already, this is going to give us more of Juke's story. But we're also going to see Juke with Nicole's note that she left, something that she found in the last episode when she was at Nicole's house, but we never saw her reading what she wrote, so I'm sure this is something that we'll see in episode 9. And while Jukebox is devastated with the death of Nicole, on the other side, we're going to see Nicole's mom again, this time at the precinct, and no doubt probably blaming Jukebox for the death of Nicole once again, just like we saw in the last episode. And then we have the storyline between Detective Burke and Jukebox as well. We saw them in the trailer where Jukebox said that all the cops are in danger and she just doesn't want to see anybody else getting hurt. And I do wonder whether this is a wider plan from Raquel. Just like how she has a position for Kanan, taking out the biggest threat to the family, will she speak to Juke and ask her to play a position for her as well, and thus getting into the police force with the use of Detective Burke? Or will she actually tell Burke that her and the cops are in danger because they really are in danger? I really hope they don't paint Juke to be a snitch, so I really do hope it is a part of Raquel's master plan, but only time will tell. But those are the main storylines going into episode 9 and breaking down the synopsis for the next episode. Now someone who we didn't touch on in this video was Davina, because she's been taken into foster care, so I don't know whether we'll see this playing a part again this season or whether this is something that we're going to see going into season 2. But those are the latest images from episode 9 and what we can expect, and I'm excited to see Marvin's rampage and whether we see this confrontation between Marvin and Juke. Despite everything else that's going on, this is really one thing I'm looking forward to seeing if it does happen this episode. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Drop all your predictions and theories down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.